Good morning, students. I am Dr. Deepshikha. Today we'll discuss the topic breastfeeding. So before starting, I request you all to please subscribe my channel. So let's get started. Stanya is breast milk. Acharya Kashyap in Khil Sthan 22nd chapter has compared Stanya to elixir, Amrit, because he believes that just as by churning the ocean of milk, essence of all the drugs became divine nectar or Amrit, by which the Devtas became immortal, in the same way from essence of all the drugs in the abdomen of mammals, milk is formed. Therefore, Stanya is considered an elixir. Elixir is nothing but Amrit. Breast milk is ideal for a normal neonate. It is the best gift that a mother can give to her baby. Why? Because it contains all the nutrients which a baby requires for his normal growth and development. So, breast milk is sufficient for the baby from time of birth to first 6 months of life. Ensuring exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months. It has the potential to reduce under 5 mortality rate by 13%. So, it is the most cost effective and the most clinically effective intervention that we know to reduce newborn and child death. Now let's have a look what are the exclusive breastfeeding trends around the world. So, in the whole world, only 38% of infants between 0 to 6 months are exclusively breastfed, and the rest percentage receive either breastfed plus top feed or only top feed. Now, do you know what is the ratio of exclusive breastfeeding in India? It varies from state to state. In Meghalaya, there is the lowest percentage, 35.8, and in Chhattisgarh, we have the highest percentage, 77.2%. Exclusive breastfeeding rate in India has improved from 46.4 to 54.9%. So on an average in India, 54.9% babies are exclusively breastfed. In 2011, WHO said that suboptimal breastfeeding practices is responsible for 11.6% of all child death under 5 years. So this percentage equals to more than 8 lakh child death. So simply by ensuring that we feed the baby exclusively by breastfeed for first 6 months of life, we could have saved 8 lakh child death. So this emphasizes the importance of breastfeeding. World Health Assembly in 2012 included exclusively breastfeeding rate, increase in exclusive breastfeeding rate in 6 global nutrition targets. This is a pictorial representation for breastfeeding rates around the world. This is another paper cutting. Here you can see that though 95% of children in India are breastfed at some point of life, but only 54.9 children are exclusively breastfed. This is National Family Health Survey data of India. And when it comes to early initiation of breastfeeding, you see here you see that low socioeconomic status countries like Bhutan, Madagascar, Peru, they have 99% babies who are at least once fed in first hour of birth, whereas in higher income countries like Ireland, US, Spain, they have lower percentage of babies who are initiated early for breastfeeding. Now, how is the stanya or breast milk formed? It is formed by prasad ansh of ras dhatu. Ras dhatu, as you all know, it is formed by ahar a person intakes. Even in Kashyap Sutra Sthan, Acharya has said that whatever anpan a garbhini stri intakes, so the ahar of mother, 1/3 of ahar of mother goes for stan pushtyartham, that is for stan pushti and stanya nirman. Coming to the physiology of lactation, Acharyas have said that sneh or the psychological factor is the main hetu for nirantar prasrav. Sneho nirantarastat prasav hetur uchyate. Now let's see the physiology of lactation according to modern science. Milk is produced as a result of interaction between hormones and reflexes. Two hormones are most important during lactation. First one is prolactin reflex. It is also called the milk secretion reflex. And another one is oxytocin reflex. It is called the milk ejection reflex. Now prolactin is produced by anterior pituitary gland and it is responsible for milk secretion by the alveolar epithelial cells. When a baby starts sucking, the nerve ending in the nipple carry message to the anterior pituitary, which in turn release prolactin, and that acts on the alveolar glands in the breast to stimulate milk secretion. This cycle is called prolactin reflex or milk secretion reflex. Now the more the baby sucks at the breast, the greater is the milk production. And the earlier the baby is put to breast, the sooner this reflex is initiated. The greater the demand, the more is the milk production. It is therefore very important for mothers to feed early, feed frequently, and completely empty the breast at each feed. One more important point is that prolactin is produced at night. So feeding during night is very important. You see here prolactin reflex. Now what are the enhancing factors? For this, enhancing factors are early initiation of breastfeeding, good attachment, effective suckling, frequent feeding including night feed, and emptying the breast completely. Now, what are the hindering factors? Hindering factors which hinder the prolactin reflex: delay in initiation, pre-lacteal feed, bottle feeding, incorrect positioning, and painful breast. These are the factors which decrease the milk secretion. So, you should always discourage use of bottle for feeding or use of top feed. Okay. Now next reflex is oxytocin reflex. So oxytocin is the hormone produced by posterior pituitary and it is responsible for contraction of milk from the glands into the lactiferous sinus and the lactiferous ducts. This hormone is produced in response to stimulation to the nerve endings in the nipple by suckling as well as by thought, sight and sound of the baby. Now this reflex is affected by mother's emotion. This reflex is much affected by mother's emotion. So a mother should be relaxed and confident. Now if a mother has tension and there is lack of confidence, so this reflex is hindered. So it is very important that there should be a supportive health professional or a relative of mother to reassure the mother and help her gain the confidence so that she can successfully breastfeed her baby. When to start breastfeeding? Acharya Charak has said that immediately after birth, after Jat Karm, immediately after birth you should start the Jat Karm, and before Jat Karm you can do Pran Pratyagaman, Mukh Vishodhan, Nal Chedan and Ulva Parimarjan. So you see here Pran Pratyagaman is resuscitation, Mukh Vishodhan is clearing the airway passage and Nal Chedan is cutting the cord. So this is very important for making sure that the baby is stable and alive. So just after the baby is stable and alive, you should start Jat Karm, that is feeding. So this emphasizes that as early as possible feeding should be started. Also WHO has said that feeding should be started within half an hour of birth. So if you start the feeding early in the first hour of birth, there is 33% less risk of neonatal mortality, but only 41.6% receive breastfeed within first hour of birth. As we come to India, the data improves from 23 to 41%. Okay, but there is still a long way to go, because among 76 countries surveyed, India ranks 56th among these countries. So it's our goal to start breastfeeding early and give exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months. You see in this graph, as this red line is children breastfed within the first hour of birth. As you see, this graph goes up. The yellow one, which is infant mortality rate, this graph goes down. So exclusive breastfeeding rate is inversely proportional to infant mortality rate. So to decrease infant mortality rate, you should increase the breastfeeding rate. These are the various positions which a mother can hold the baby. The mother can take any position that is comfortable to her and to her baby. She can sit or lie down, and her back should be well supported, and she should not be leaning on her baby. Okay, and the babies should be supported well. So because a newborn is not able to hold neck, as you saw in previous class, that neck holding comes around 3 months. So a neonate should be supported at the neck, at the shoulders and at the whole body, and the baby's neck and head should be in line without any twist in neck, and baby's body should be turned towards the mother. Baby's abdomen should be touching mother's abdomen, and baby's nose should be at the level of nipple. It is also important for the baby to burp after feeding, to release any excess air which baby engulfs during feeding. So this is the picture for correct attachment or correct latching for adequate feeding. In a correct proper position, the baby's cheek is touched. The baby's cheek is touched, and that will allow the baby open her mouth. This is the rooting reflex. If you touch the baby's angle of mouth with the nipple, the baby's searches for the nipple. It is called rooting reflex. Now when the babies open their mouth, the baby should be quickly brought to the breast, ensuring that the nipple and most of the areola is within baby's mouth. You see, the nipple and most of the areola should be within baby's mouth. And it is also important that baby should be supported and brought to mother rather than mother leaning on the baby, because if the mother leans on the baby, there may be undue pressure and obstruction of the nose, which may hinder breathing. Now if you want to look whether there is proper attachment or proper latching or not, the baby's mouth should be wide open and most of the areola and nipple should be in the mouth. Only upper areola should be visible. This upper areola should be visible. Excuse me. Upper areola should be visible. And not the lower one. The baby's chin should touch the breast. The baby's chin should be touching the breast. And baby's lower lip should be everted. Baby's lower lip should be everted. Okay, so this is the correct infant latch-on position. As you see in this picture, the baby is sucking just on the anatomical nipple and not on the whole areola. So this is a wrong position. There may be problems in breastfeeding if mother has inverted nipple, sore nipple, or breast engorgement. So these problems should be dealt accordingly. Now let's see what are the benefits of breast milk. As you know, breast milk is not just food. It is more than food, as it gives not only satisfies the hunger of the baby, but it gives immunity and psychological reassurance. In Ayurveda also, lot of benefits of breast milk are described as avyahat balang ayur arogo vardhate sukham. If a baby is given breast milk, then he will grow up without any diseases. Pushtikaram, it gives nutrition. Arogyakaram, it gives health. It protects against diseases. Sharir upchay bal वृद्धि जीवनम बृंगणम सात्म्यम स्नेहनम मानुषा पया पथ्यम जीवनम लघु दीपनम. Now breast milk is nutritionally superior to any other form of milk. Breast milk contains all the nutrients a baby needs for normal growth and development in an optimum proportion, in a form that is easily digested and absorbed. If we see at the carbohydrates, lactose is in high concentration. 6 to 7 gram per dl of lactose is present in breast milk. The galactose is necessary for formation of galactocerebrides, and lactose also helps in absorption of calcium and also enhances the growth of lactobacilli in the intestine. Coming to proteins, the protein content of breast milk is low. It is 0.9 to 1.1 gram per dl, and it is in the form of lactalbumin and lactglobulin. But baby cannot effectively metabolize a high protein load, so this concentration of protein is optimum for the baby. And there are also essential amino acids like taurine and cysteine. This is necessary for neurotransmission and neuromodulation. This taurine and cysteine are lacking in cow milk and formula milk. Coming to fats, breast milk is rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids necessary for the myelination of nervous system. It also contains omega-2 and omega-6 fatty acids. This is required for prostaglandin and cholesterol synthesis, which is again base for steroid hormones. Now, the quantity and bioavailability of vitamin and minerals in breast milk is sufficient for needs of baby. Breast milk contains 88% water. Hence, a breastfed baby does not require any additional water in the first few months of life, even in summer months. And the osmolality of breast milk is low, so it presents a low solute load to the neonatal kidney. Breast milk is immunologically superior. It has secretory immunoglobulin A, macrophages, lymphocytes, lysozymes and interferons. It protects against diarrhea-like diseases 14 times and against respiratory illness 4 times. So a baby who is given breastfeeding, he will remain protected against diarrhea and respiratory illnesses. Now, breast milk also has epidermal growth factors which reduces risk of allergy in later life. Breastfed babies also have lower risk of diabetes and heart disease in later life, and these children are better bonded to mother. Also, breastfed babies have higher IQ. They are more intelligent as compared to babies who are deprived of breastfeed. Now, not only to the baby, breastfeeding is beneficial for the mother also, because it helps in uterine involution and it reduces the chances of PPH. What is PPH? Postpartum hemorrhage. Now, it also protects against pregnancy due to lactational amenorrhea, and women who give breastfeeding, they have a reduced risk of breast and ovary cancer, and it also helps in shedding the extra weight a woman puts on during pregnancy. So breastfeeding is the most convenient and most time saving. It is, as you have seen, that it is beneficial not only to the baby but also to the mother. So the mother should be told about this all these benefits, so she can be encouraged to feed her baby exclusively. Now, what are the types of breast milk? I would like to tell you that composition of breast milk varies at different stages from birth to further forward. Milk of a mother who has delivered preterm baby is different in composition from milk of a mother delivered a term baby. So nature has designed it according to the need of baby. Now, first of all, let's see what is colostrum. Colostrum is the first milk secreted during initial 3 to 4 days after delivery. It is yellow, thick, and it contains more amount of antibodies and rich in vitamin A, D, E, K. These are the fat soluble vitamins. So colostrum is rich in fat soluble vitamins and antibodies. After 4 days comes transitional milk. It is secreted from 4 to 10 days after delivery. It is lower in protein as compared to colostrum, but fat and sugar content increases. Now mature milk is after transitional milk. It is thinner and watery, but it contains all the nutrients which are essential for optimal growth of baby. There is also term called foremilk and hindmilk. Foremilk is secreted at the starting of feeding and hindmilk is secreted later towards the end of feeding. Foremilk is rich in protein, sugar, vitamin, mineral and water, so it quenches the thirst of baby, and hindmilk is richer in fat, provides energy and gives a sense of satiety. So if you don't empty a breast completely, hind milk will not be given completely to the baby and the baby will cry frequently, he will become hungry. But if you empty one breast completely before switching to the other breast, a baby will receive hind milk also completely and will sleep soundly for at least 2 hours after feeding. Now as I told you about preterm milk, which is secreted by a mother who delivers a preterm baby, it contains more proteins, more sodium, iron, immunoglobulins and calories, because a preterm baby needs them more than a term baby. Okay. Now what is expressed breast milk? Expressed breast milk is also called EBM. So EBM or expressed breast milk, when a mother is not in a position to feed her baby. For example, if a mother is ill, if a mother delivers a preterm baby who is in NICU, or a working mother who has joined her duties soon after, she should express her milk in a clean, wide-mouthed container, and this milk should be fed to her baby. Okay. So expressed breast milk can be stored at room temperature for 6 to 8 hours, in a refrigerator for 24 hours, and in a freezer at -20 for 3 months. So if a mother has to go out and is separated from her baby for any reason, she should express her breast milk so that anyone who is taking care of the baby can give baby breast milk in absence of the mother. And when we talk of the room temperature here, at which milk can be kept for 6 to 8 hours, by room temperature we mean around 25-degree temperature, not the Indian summer hot days temperature. So in summers it is advisable to keep the EBM in refrigerator, and before giving to the baby it can be brought to a normal temperature. And to maintain adequate lactation, a mother should express her milk at least 8 to 10 times in a 24-hour period. There are 3 ways to express breast milk. First one is manual method. This you see is manual method, by which a mother massages the breast gently towards the nipple, then places a thumb and index finger opposite each other just outside the dark circle around the nipple, and press backward toward the chest and gently squeezes to release the milk in a clean, wide mouth container. Second one is a handheld breast pump. This will be an easier option to express milk, and this is electric breast pump. So depending on mother's choice, she can opt for any of the 3 methods to store her milk and give it to the baby when she is not present with the baby. Now one last topic in this class is milk banking. This is a relatively newer concept. It was started in Mumbai in 1989. This was the first milk bank in Asia. So what is a milk bank? Milk bank is where you store milk from a donor and give it to a recipient who requires milk. Okay, just as we have blood bank where a donor donates blood and a recipient who requires blood gets it from the blood bank. Similarly, there is a concept of milk banking. So who can be the recipient? Who can have the milk from the milk bank? Any baby of mother who has lactation failure due to hormonal disturbances, or a mother has postpartum illness, she is not able to feed, she is not able to produce milk, or in an unfortunate event where mother has died, or where there are adopted neonates, biological mother is not present, abandoned neonates who have been left by their parents, infant at health risk from breast milk of biological mother. So due to any medical condition a mother cannot feed her baby, so in that case a baby can get it from the milk bank. Now who can donate milk bank? If the babies are to get milk bank, someone has to donate it. So who can donate it? Any healthy lactating mother who is willing, who can volunteer for this cause to give her extra breast milk without compromising needs of her own baby. So to donate breast milk, a mother should have more than surplus. Okay. Also, a mother whose baby has died, she also secretes breast milk that can be collected and donated to the milk bank. And where should it be ideally located? A milk bank should be ideally located in near the neonatal unit. So what is the process of milk banking? First of all, a selective donor is recruited and screening is done. Screening is done that the mother should not have any medical issues. Sanitary milk expression in a container, considering the hygiene issues. Temperature controlled milk handling, because if the milk meets a high temperature it is destroyed, so temperature controlled milk handling is important. Next is pasteurization, next is bacteriological testing, then temperature controlled transport and transport to the milk bank, and from there milk allocation to infants is done. So this is the processing of donor human milk at a human milk bank. This you see is a picture of milk from milk bank. You get this in these containers, these packets, and this is the list of milk banks in India. In Udaipur, in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Pune, Kolkata, we have human milk banks in India. So to end today's class, let's have some tips for lactating mothers: that feed early, feed frequently, empty out breast completely at each feeding. Remember, greater the demand, more is the production, and the mother should take balanced diet, plenty of water, adequate rest, stress-free environment, and she should give EBM when not with the baby. So let's pledge to feed our future. Thank you.